name is Sandeep Mohan. I'm an independent filmmaker. I live in Mumbai and I'm from Kerala, but I live in Mumbai. I made 3 feature films till now. First feature film was called Love Wrinkle Free, which had a theatrical release in 2012. The PVR directors there. And the second film was called Ola Venki, and this one which I'm traveling right now, it's called Sri Lancer, the story of a freelancer. So that's me. I'm an independent feature filmmaker who travels with this movie and screens it in various alternative spaces under the concept of the great Indian traveling cinema. So after my first feature film, Love Wrinkle Free, got an adult certification, which I thought was very unfair from censor because it was a very sensible comedy. It had some jokes which, as all adults we joke around, joke about these things, but I felt it was very unfair. So I made my second feature film called Ola Venki and decided not to go through the typical route of film festivals or even the theatrical, which you need a censor. So I refused to take a censor and I started traveling. I said, what can I do when you have a movie ready and if I have to reach out to my audience? These are engaging films, comedies, it needs an audience. So film festivals are not the right place for these kind of films which I make. So I thought, what can I do? So I thought, let me just call it something interesting in the great Indian traveling cinema because I like traveling, and I also found so many alternative spaces around the country which exist, like this bookshop, for instance. You can have a screening right here on the wall, or an art gallery, or a cafe, or anything, a pub, any space, even your home, in your corporate conference room. You can screen anywhere. So the whole idea is, that's how it took form, concept in the second film, and I did screenings in 92 alternative spaces around the country as well as in US and Singapore. So there's I was learning on the job. I was traveling in the projector and screening in various crazy places. I try to make engaging films, with something sensible to say. So it's not mainstream comedy at the same time film festivals art house. It's somewhere between these two is my space, which is I need an audience, so I try to engage them. But it's in the realistic space. So themes which I kind of like are around the pressures of working in offices, so the corporate world, or the difficulties which people face, right? When you have a 9-to-5 job. I've also done my stint in advertising. I know the difficulties involved in an office space. I always feel that in mainstream films, it's never shown in the correct light, the corporate way of life. Very few of them are shown in the correct light. So I kind of talk about these things through my films and try to make it fun and at the same time have something to say. So people should not get bored at the end of 90 minutes. So my whole idea is to keep them engaged and tell them something and express something from within me. The whole idea is to express. That's why I make films. Right? So I write my scripts also beyond directing. Love Wrinkle Free, first film, had a slightly larger crew of, the whole team was around 45 people. And I kind of figured that lots of time we are wasting, lots of people just hanging around, not doing much on the set. And also it costs money, they're eating food and they're hanging around here and there. So with Ola Venki, I made the film with a 3-member crew. So me, my sound recordist and the camera person. So there's a crew of 3 on set and with actors, of course. And the movie was shot in a budget of 10 lakhs. It's a whole feature film, we shot in San Francisco. But we could do it only because the crew was so small. And with Sri Lancer, it's a travel movie in the sense, it involves some amount of traveling. The protagonist travels. So some portions of the film had 9 people crew and some places had a crew of 4. So ranging from 4 to 9 to 10 maximum. I try to keep it very small so that budget is low, plus not too much of people hanging around, not doing much. Plus all of us do more work. We are always alert. Love Wrinkle Free, we had a theatrical release in 9 cities in India through PVR directors, and then the rights were sold in a typical way. Except the satellite rights didn't go because, like I told you, the adult certification issue happened. But with Ola Venki and Sri Lancer now, with Netflix, Amazon, other forms of online platforms coming in, and they're interested to associate with us because these films do have an audience, because like I told you, these are engaging films, and people would love to see these kind of films. So there's a revenue from there too. And as far as traveling cinema is concerned, I tell people, I put my bag out there and that people pay what you can, because that covers my traveling. And this traveling cinema I do only to keep the bus going for the film, so that it's there. It's not going to festivals, it's not going anywhere else. And I don't want to spend unnecessary on PR and stuff. I want to see organically if the movie is good. If it's good, people will talk about it. If it's good, they'll interview me, or rather, things like that. So I don't want to have a false thing in my mind by myself planting ads or articles in newspapers and stuff. So that's like I'm fooling myself. I really want to know that my film is connecting with my audience. I say to my audience, watch it. Tell them if you like the film, pay some money. If you don't like the film, don't pay me any money. So at least by the concept of even by paying money, I know they've liked the film. Like I count the money and see, okay, good, I can cover my ticket. From Cochin right now, I can maybe go to Mysore or maybe to Kolkata. So it needs some money, but that gets covered with what people give me. But in the larger space, these movies get sold to the bigger online platforms and hopefully satellite rights, all this. Because of the buzz we develop like this, right? Independent films need to think innovative, and we need to be on our foot, always think on our foot. So, I started off, my first job was an assistant director to Sanjay Leela Bansali. Like one of the early jobs which I did was in Bombay as an AD and a couple of television channels and stuff. But I got kind of disillusioned with the whole big world of Bombay. At 23, I left Bombay and came to Bangalore, worked in few ad agencies as a copywriter. Again, I was not happy. I'm never happy in one place. So I kept on leaving jobs. At 28, again I came back to Bombay. Positioned myself as a writer, scriptwriter. I like writing. And then I went around trying to do my stuff for TV, and then I went independent at 30. I told myself, I've got to go independent if you need creative control. And I'm all for creative control. I think films are about a person's vision, of a person. So you need to have total control of what you have to say. So I write my scripts, I get together the funds and go and make it. Because that's the only way I know. I don't know any other way of working. So for the Great Indian Traveling Cinema, the venues happen through Facebook, because yesterday in Cochin, for instance, they were screening in this Car and Cafe in Kakinad. So I don't know these people personally. It all happens through Facebook. Some friends of mine I meet here and there in other screenings or maybe in other places. They invite me. They know that I do this. I have a projector with me. I travel and do screenings. And I also spread the word out through Facebook and tell people, if you are interested to watch my film, call me. I'll come on my own, and then we'll have this interaction post screening. And then you pay only if you like. So I think it's a lot of these places like this, they're happy because they can on a Friday evening or a Saturday evening, they can have some more people coming into the place and maybe ordering food and hanging around, and it makes the whole place appear cooler too. And for me personally, I get an audience which otherwise I wouldn't get. And this is pretty much my audience. This is the kind of audience which likes subtitle movies like mine. Mine has a lot of languages, so it's all subtitle movies, fun movies, and this is my audience. So it's both of us. It's a win-win thing for both of us. I get my audience, they get some clientele and some publicity also maybe. I think earlier, even in Kerala, for instance, John Abraham, this filmmaker, he was one of the pioneers of traveling cinema. And I'm not the first guy to do traveling cinema, so I didn't invent traveling cinema. I'm utilizing it. Maybe today in urban India, maybe I'm one of the few guys who's traveling this independent film, feature film, and figuring out alternative spaces, because my films are urban-centric films. So I think it works only in the urban space. So I am catering to an urban audience, contemporary stories about them. So it's mostly, like I told you, art galleries, pubs, cafes, wherever these people go. So it's not just a cinema hall alone, because cinema hall is like, you're never going to see the movie filmmaker, and you pay so much money and then you don't see the filmmaker. If you don't like the movie, the money is gone. With Freelancer, this was the 18th screening. So I intend to do 100 screenings. My goal this time is to do 100 such screenings. That means more traveling, meeting more people, and that's going to take some time. And the future of traveling cinema, I don't know really, because nobody knows the future. And personally for me, the Great Indian Traveling Cinema, what I call the Great Indian Traveling Cinema, I would like to continue doing that, even for my future films. whatever scale, it could be a bigger budget film, it could be a smaller budget, but I get to directly meet my audience, and which as a writer, I write also. I meet various kinds of people, and also as a director, to sit with them and see how they're reacting to the films you made. To me, that's huge, because that learning which I get right there is something that's difficult for me to explain, because that's the kick I'm after. It's not for any career and all of this thing. I don't care for that, because it's a nice feeling, of course, but more importantly, when I see their faces post the screening or while the movie is on, I know when I write next time what's working with this audience, because I'm still figuring out my audience, and I'm like kind of targeting, and eventually I will start writing only for them, and slowly I'm building my audience one screening at a time, and without having to put up big ads and maybe become an PR agency and stuff. So I'm creating my own audience, and eventually film festivals hopefully will discover me. Hopefully, I don't want to go begging and saying, I'm an independent sort of guy, and I make my films on my own, exactly the way I want to. And when it comes to distribution, I don't want to be hang around and the producers and stuff telling me what to do. I don't want to live that world. I want to do it my way, and if you don't help me out, I will distribute myself this way. So I live in Mumbai with my wife Nalini and my daughter Amelie. I named her after that movie Amelie. She's 6 years old. So so I stay in Mumbai. They're very supportive of the things I do, because I'm traveling so much, and without their support you cannot do much, because traveling is always. Frankly, personally for me, I would be happy if a lot more people get involved in the Great Indian Traveling Cinema, and it's not limited just to me, because all these places where I go and travel and screen, these are potential theatres or cinema halls or mini cinema halls in that sense, because imagine if tomorrow, every Friday, there is one movie, let's say on a Saturday, in all these places, the 100 places I'm going to, let's say. So imagine one screening happening of some movie or some independent film or something of that sort happening. If that starts happening, and then we don't need this big cinema halls for smaller films, maybe. And people start getting comfortable paying whatever money, maybe not 250, 300 rupees which you pay in multiplexes, but you can pay less amount of money, because these movies I make a lower budget. So you don't need to pay me big money, but I don't mind if you pay me big money. So it should be left open to the people as to what they want to pay. So I definitely think this is the future. This is one of the possibilities with which independent filmmakers can reach out to the audience. I'm sure there are many other ways, but personally for me this works, because I'm combining two of my passions, which is like traveling and cinema. So I'm combining these two, which I personally love traveling, I love cinema, so I combine it, because then I can have a fun life, And while traveling, you kind of grow as a human being too, and you meet people, you meet characters. So I'm never at a shortage of ideas, because when you sit down and write scripts, I always think about, I met this guy in the train, or I met that person in the airport, stuff like that. So it's fun, it's good.